Yo, this is the iPhone 12 mini, and this is a tech YouTuber facepalm thumbnail that you've probably seen way too much and would lead you to believe there's something gravely wrong with this phone. There are news articles to back it up. The iPhone 12 mini is failing, but as someone who's used one extensively, here are my thoughts, and if you're wondering why everything is empty, there's also a video on that down below. Today's video is sponsored by Visible. Yes, I've seen the headlines. Those sales, they don't change you and me. I haven't even thought about my 11 Pro Max. Do you know how heavy that was? Plus, no one needs a telephoto lens in that trash f-stop. Just move closer. Maybe they'd want to if their phone was lighter. But this is good. Yes, you're small. But that's what so many people love about you. You shoot in Dolby Vision, you got night mode on your ultra wide, the 11 Pro Max didn't have that, and you're just as fast as the Pros, and faster than the Snapdragons. Have I thought about Pro RAW? Are you missing LiDAR? Could your battery life be better? Yes, but we're like 6 months out until Tim Apple drops a new version of you, so rather than make this awkward, you gotta start over, I'd have to start over, we could just ride this out. So it's been a minute since I switched to the iPhone 12 mini, and I think back when I did that a couple months ago, there was a handful of people who thought I really wasn't gonna do it. Maybe I was gonna switch a week later, or I was just doing it for the clicks in general, but thus far, it is still my main phone. There have been two constants in my life, not switching from the 12 mini and not cutting my hair. Like, it is officially long AF right now, over 365 days since I've got a haircut. And I realize things are definitely better, they're safer now, but it's almost become like a mental challenge of how long I can go. And for the sake of it, if this video gets 10,000 likes, I'll throw it in a man bun. Now, to quickly recap, what ultimately enticed me to make the switch to the 12 mini was, of course, that compact size. I was coming from an 11 Pro Max, so I was just excited to simplify things and be able to use a phone one-handed again. Now, what makes it special is the entire iPhone 12 lineup. The 12 mini, the 12, the 12 Pro, and the 12 Pro Max all share the same processor, so I was not losing performance. The 12 mini also shares the exact same cameras as the regular 12, so for me, getting night mode on the ultra wide angle lens was something I did not have on my 11 Pro Max, and it's something that I use all the time. Also, Dolby Vision HDR video recording for me has been a game changer. If you missed any of the things that I've recorded in Dolby Vision, I'll drop a link to those down below so you can see exactly why I think it's such a big deal. But I think all those things combined have thoroughly delivered. At this point though, honestly, I think this late in the game, I'm just gonna stick it out until the next batch of new iPhones. Really, apart from battery life, which again could be better, I have thoroughly enjoyed everything about the 12 mini. At this point, you may be wondering, that sounds like a pretty compelling phone. Why is it failing? First, the notion or that headline of the 12 mini failing comes from sales. At this point, it looks like the iPhone 12 mini is only accounting for roughly 5% of the entire iPhone 12 lineup sales, not the entire iPhone lineup, specifically the 12. I think it's really simple and easy and maybe lazy to look at the 12 Pro Max sales and think because, well, that's doing well, maybe there really isn't a market for smaller smartphones. In reality, there's a lot more to the picture. Again, those are just iPhone 12 sales. The iPhone 11 is still destroying it for Apple. Then of course we have things like the pandemic, everything is just kind of all over the place, but ultimately I think it comes down to three reasons. One, the iPhone SE 2020, two, the name, and three, it is ultimately too expensive. Now, before we jump into those three things, first I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Visible. And if you haven't heard of Visible, what you doing with your life? So Visible makes wireless service straightforward, simple, and easy. You can do everything from your phone. So that's awesome, but I think saving money is more awesome. And you can do that without sacrificing anything because it's also powered by Verizon 5G. Speaking of saving money, you can take advantage of Visible for as low as $25 a month with Party Pay. Visible took the whole friends and family thing, but somehow made it better because maybe you don't want to be on the same line as your family. That's okay. So you can do this with friends, coworkers, even a neighbor if you wanted to. And the idea is once you invite a person to join that party, when they join, you each get $5 off your bill. The beautiful and genius part about this though is each person has their own separate account. So you're not waiting on Steve to pay your phone bill. So if you want to not rely on Steve and save money, Visible will overnight you a SIM card, or if your device supports eSIM, you can get activated within minutes, and I'll drop a link to all that down below. So, iPhone SE 2020. Now, if we dial back the clock to last year, which I get, nobody wants to do, looking at the iPhone SE 2020 launch, it was a little weird. It was essentially right when the pandemic really kicked off and everything was just completely up in the air, but Apple was like, hey, here's an iPhone SE, it's the new 2020 model, it's essentially an iPhone 8 body, but we sandwiched inside iPhone 11 parts, it has Touch ID, it's $399, here you go. In a lot of ways, it was actually a very well-timed release, just given the circumstance of the world. Again, that price point of $399 actually made sense because people didn't want to drop a ton of cash on a smartphone. As far as the performance and the camera, if you were upgrading from the original iPhone SE, it was huge, but ultimately, I think it kind of lacked what made the original iPhone SE special. Up until that release, we had years of rumors of Apple finally updating that iPhone SE, which so many people loved. Not only the compact size, but the look, the feel, it was solid. And I think ultimately, when we saw what looked like an iPhone 8, it kind of just took the air out of things. With that said though, a lot of people needed to upgrade from the original iPhone SE, and they did. The iPhone SE 2020 actually performed really well for Apple, and ultimately I think all those people that had to upgrade at that point maybe would have bought the 12 mini if the SE 2020 never came out. From there, I think the next thing that is hurting sales with the 12 mini, honestly, is the name. I know it might sound dumb, but it's true. I think there's some sort of negative connotation with the word mini where you feel like you're getting less, even though you may not be. Conversely, that's why the 12 Pro Max is doing so well. People want the best, the most maxed out, the most extreme, best iPhone money can buy. And I think those people who have that mindset would feel like they're getting less with the mini. Apple could sit there for days and show charts and talk about how the iPhone 12 mini has the exact same processor as the more expensive 12 Pro Max, but people are still gonna be like, well, Max is better than mini, so I'm gonna grab the Max. So on one hand, you have the iPhone SE 2020 customers, which ultimately cannibalize sales of the 12 mini. On the other, you have those people who want the best, they want the Max. And finally, I think the third point is the iPhone 12 mini is too expensive. If we jump back to the iPhone 11, I think that may have been the best iPhone release and launch ever in terms of what you get for the price. What a lot of people don't talk about is the actual successor to the 11 is the regular 12, not the mini, so it comes in at $100 more. I think that's a huge reason why, for me, if you're looking at 6.1-inch iPhones, the 12 Pro is more compelling because ultimately that regular 12 is $100 more than it should be. If Apple could somehow get the price point of the 12 mini to $599, keep the regular 12 at $699, then we jump up to the 12 and 12 Pro, that would have made much more sense. So kind of taking every single one of those factors into play, if I'm Tim Cook, here's the move. You release 3 iPhone 12s, the 12, the 12 Pro, and the 12 Pro Max. Keep that 12 at $699. The iPhone SE 2020 never exists, that never launched. As useful as it was, just completely get rid of it. At the end of the iPhone 12 announcement, you do a one more thing, bring back the iPhone SE name. Again, maybe get rid of a camera, do what you have to do to get that down to $499, and I think you got some magic. Magic aside, I of course am not Tim Cook or Tim Apple for that matter. Those are just my thoughts, and whether you agree or disagree, let me know. Hopefully though, you enjoyed the video. If you did and you are feeling like being awesome, make sure you guys drop a like. And if you just watched the update video and you subscribe to the music channel, you're amazing. Fist bump. If not, just dropped a new video on there that was shot on the iPhone 12 mini, linked up here and down below. And lastly, again, big thanks to Visible for sponsoring today's video. This is Jonathan, and I will catch you guys later.